we're back into a new stream. New stream, welcome, hello, greetings, nice to see you again.
Thanks for being patient.
We are glad you're back. Yep, the occasional hiccup.
This stuff happens. This stuff happens. The stream crashing.
It's live. It's a thing. It happens. Glad that you're still here. If you're still here, if you're watching on demand, then hey, thank you for clicking onto this video because you're like, where'd the rest of the video go? It's here. Thank you very much. So, yep, that's live. Live will do that to you. Yep, there we go. There's a couple of very technical things I want to talk about, but I'm not going to do it. Well, I might just say the fact that variable stream keys are a pain in the butt because you have to start a new stream every single time something goes wrong. But then if I do the same stream key every time, then I start getting in trouble. Like it doesn't want to. It's a very, very complicated and difficult thing that I do not understand. But we're doing it. All right, Jeff, we're doing it.
We're doing our best, man.
Exactly. We're doing the very best we can. All right, welcome back.
That's all you can do.
Yes, that is all you can do. So where were we? We were in the middle of talking about survival jobs, good ones, bad ones, teaching.
Yes. We had mentioned that to not be intimidated by becoming a teacher, either one, because you feel it could take over your acting career and now you are a teacher, not an actor, or two, because I know I felt this, you've had excellent teachers. And I know that if I'm just calling it as it is, I am not at the level of some of these teachers. Do I have something to offer? And that's where I think right where we left off.
There you go. And that's what it is. That's what it is. And like I just said before we, got cut, we're so rudely interrupted by the internet. We're standing on the shoulders of giants, which is cool. And that's great. But then we take it in and then we grind it and we put it back into the world. Either we do it as stories in acting, because it's the same thing when you get a role and do a piece, you know what I mean? Like, am I doing my mentors justice? Am I doing my training justice? Am I doing myself justice as an artist? And if you ask yourselves, like if there's a million people now that wants to go out and be teachers, if you ask yourself, the same questions, but as an educator, you're being a good educator.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's my story and I'm sticking to it.
What do you think about, I've heard this old adage, don't love your survival job. Like have a little distance from it. So like that, and that's another reason why we bring up the restaurant industry again. It's the joke. Oh, all actors are in the restaurant industry, but it's like, is there some truth in that? If you're not falling in love with it, then you never lose sight of the goal. Do you have any thoughts on that? Because I've been told that before.
Yes, and I believe it's a legit thing. I mean, it's a legitimate thing, but it also has to do with maybe who you are as a person, I guess.
That's so
because
true. It is individual to individual.
Because this specific thing I think is very individual. Because to me, I also, even because when I teach as an educator, yes, I do get stuck in the thought that I'm hungry now. I need to go create something. I need to get on the floor and make it. And that hunger reminds me that I am an actor. So for me, it's a good thing to have a job that kind of takes a little bit out of me and demands something of me. And as time goes by, things are going to demand things of you. I mean, you're going to have a mortgage, or you're going to have a family, or you're going to have your loans, your student loans, or whatever. They're going to demand things from you, and it's either reminds you of why you do this and what you do. Because I always come back to it as being an actor. Like every time I'm frustrated and things are hard and I'm like, why I don't understand what's going on here, or there's this system that I can't get into, or there's too much classes set up all on top of each other and I have no idea how to straighten it all out or whatever. I always go back to the fact that I'm doing this because I love acting.
Yep.
You know what I mean? If I didn't love acting so much, then I would just do something completely different. I would be a welder offshore and you know what I mean? I would just weld pipes on oil rigs, or I would build electric cars, or whatever I would be doing. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. That's another adage. Don't pursue this craft unless you really love it, because it is going to be.
Yeah, hard. And I think the thing is, it's not something that I'm like, I don't go away from it and then come back to it. It's something that's always with me, and I'm doing this specific thing, because I am an actor. And I think that's part of what people often misunderstand as well. And when they themselves choose things like teaching, or they choose things like writing books, or going into academia or anything, as an artist going into that, I think it's scary for people to be thinking, okay, I'm going to lose my voice, or I'm not going to be an actor anymore. And I know I've thought that myself, and I still do at times, honestly. I mean, what am I still an actor? And then I come back to it. Like, I'm doing this so I can be an actor. I'm doing this because I am an actor. And to any students of mine, previous, now, or in the future watching, it is selfish, and you understand, and you will also one day when you yourself go up in front of people, you know, and there is a bit of selfishness in it, in the fact that my idea of teaching this craft is to make someone as good as I possibly can make them, in my view, my opinion, and then send them off to somebody else and see if, you know what I mean? Send them off either into the world if they're happy with what I taught them, or over to somebody else to see if they can teach them something new.
Yeah.
You know, I can only give you this brush. I made this brush, and I can give it to you, and you can paint these strokes with it. And you can either take it and snip it and, you know, make your own brush and teach that on, or you can throw it in the garbage and learn a new, you know, you pick up a new brush.
You take what you need, and that's it. Yeah.
Exactly. But to me, it's like, yes, it is time consuming. Sometimes it is very time consuming, but on the other hand, it needs to be, you know, because I'm at a place in my life where, I need it to be, you know, it has to, I have to put in that many hours, you know what I mean? I can't, you know, being 35 years old, and maybe this is something, okay, we're going to get into something here. I need you to help me riff on this, right?
Yeah.
What is your time worth?
Oh man.
You see what I mean?
Such a valid question, especially with these survival jobs or whatever.
Yeah. Like, how much are you going to put into, because you know how it is now. Time becomes, for some reason, money becomes less valuable. I mean, even though it's sometimes all encompassing and important, but time becomes more valuable than money over time. Yeah. I'm noticing that it's changing, and it's like, what is it I put my time into? You know, can I spend all of these weeks or whatever it may be, doing this work? Let's say just, I'm going to hit the pavement and audition, right? Or like somebody searching for a job will be searching for a job for no pay, no stimulants. You know what I mean? There's no stimulation in it. There's no motivation in it. Or should I be spending my time teaching others about what I know, getting impulses from that, and continuing to work on the opportunities that arise that I make for myself, you know, you know what I mean? Like, they're always going to be there. That's what I say, as I know I'm an actor more because I teach. And this is becoming an interview with Ray about teaching. But
no, dude, this is good stuff, man.
I think it's very important, because I think it's underrated that there's a lot of people who go into the world that don't teach art, who I think should, because they have a voice and something very valid to say. And part of it is, I go into it and I think, what's my time worth here? You know what I mean? Can I put my time into this? Can I put 2 weeks into this? Can I put 3 weeks into this? Can I put 6 months into this? Is it something I want to do? And it's in the same league, I guess, as these actors who gain the sudden success and they start being able to choose. You know what I mean? Why can't we? Even though it's not between blockbuster A or blockbuster B, you still get to choose. You know what I mean? And like, for instance, I'm
power over your career than you might think in some ways.
I think so.
There's an element of power that we have.
I think so, really. And I think it helps you a lot to have a survival job that grounds you and brings you back to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh man, you're nailing it. Yeah.
Appreciate it, man. I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is. Because I really like you put the question in our notes. Jeff did, you know, he sets up the breakdown notes, and it says, you know, what's the value of having a survival job, working 40 hours on top of, let's say, auditioning? That's the value, you know. It's
for that final part. I know for me, it also, like, the time away from that specific hustle of auditioning and feeling if it's rejection or feeling insecurity. You know, we all feel it a little bit. Having that time away in another venue where you're not feeling that, I think is super valuable. So I would say, if someone was like, oh, I just inherited a trust fund, I'm just going to audition all day, I would be like, you might still get a job just because you will be able to, like, work your brain in different ways. I think
Yes.
is a thought that I
For
had
sure.
with that thing.
Try to do something.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense. That really does. And yeah, because living in that, nobody, I mean, who lives in that? Like, I really don't know of anyone who doesn't do anything else, you know, who only for their entire life only auditions. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know who that is either, but I'm sure someone out there
Please let
has
us
done
know
that.
if you exist. We want you on the show and we want to talk to you and see if you're
Yeah.
alive.
Yeah. They inherited oil money from
There you go.
some relative,
There you
maybe.
go.
I don't
But
know.
I feel that even if you do, like if you inherit oil money, then you put it somewhere. You know what I mean? Like if you're in this and you do it, then then it becomes an enterprise, doesn't it? You start a production company, or you're
not wrong.
You put the money into
so
films you believe in. So like it's not just this hustle, you know, and it's not like somebody who only. And I don't think there's anybody who would do that to themselves.
Yeah, man.
So maybe a survival job is important also in the fact that it just keeps you sane.
I think so. I think, I know I'm the most happiest when I'm busy. I
Yeah.
really am. Like, and we've talked about the pandemic a lot on the show and how it's affected us and affected our acting. But I also found I was auditioning better when I was in my groove of, I got my shifts at work.
Yeah.
I got my auditions planned for the week.
Yeah.
I can hang out with friends on the weekend, and I loved the routine. I found the discipline actually gave me happiness,
Yep.
which is something very common you hear on from a lot of people. But I
Yeah.
think it particularly rings true in acting.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a good point. It really keeps you sane. It helps you with consistency, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It kind of helps
So I
you.
would say for that person who said that joke about making fun of the restaurant job,
Yeah.
get out of here.
Get out of here.
Such value in not only hustling what you like, but also having that other thing that you at least enjoy and is allowing you to do that thing. And if it's, dude, I loved hearing you talk about teaching today, because like it's something I've thought about, but I've had certain insecurities about it because I think because I've had these other teachers who were so good.
Yeah.
But could be a venue,
It's worth a try. I think everybody who is an artist should try teaching at least once and see what it does to you. And then, because if it does something to you, if it does something important to you, then it's going to do something important to your students. I mean, every single week I go into that room. Thankfully, we're able to work together in the room a little bit now.
Yeah, that's true.
But every week when I go into that room, I learn something. I teach these things that I've experienced, and that some of the things I even have to read because I don't know about it. I have to teach things that I've read because I haven't done that specific thing. And I learn on my feet teaching it, and it gives me these nuances and these ideas, and it fills me with motivation. You know what I mean? And some people I know also, and this is myself included, and this is me on air fessing up, kind of. But some people get bitter at their students if they don't work and their students do, and their students move on and they don't. That becomes a very dangerous, poisonous thing. But it's kind of like the same monster we've talked about before when it comes to other people's success.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Regardless of if it's your classmates, or if it's your wife or your husband or your partner or your
even
students,
somebody you don't know, you see them on social media too. I think
exactly
that happens too.
Yes, exactly. You see them and it's an envy or whatever it is. It's very poisonous. And to think that it is very important for me as a teacher to work outside to work my second job. So I do say no to things, because often when it comes to things as well outside in the world, we're not used to as actors, especially if you're a semi-decent teacher and people are getting a solid bang for their buck, people are going to ask you to do more of that, because it's easier for you to do more of that than it is to do more acting. And I do have to set my boundaries and say no.
Yeah.
And to that, and realize that I'm saying no because yes, it's my job. It's what I do when I'm, not acting. But it's not who I am. There are other people, and this is something that kind of is a little strange. This is where I get a little guilty and feel a little weird, is there are people who work really hard to do what I get to do. You know what I mean? When it comes to teaching, to teach college classes or to do these things. And I don't want anybody to sit there and think that, oh, he's just not grateful for what he does. You know what I mean? I love the opportunity. But I'm only as good at, this is what I can say. And this is something that I think rings true for me personally, is I'm only as good a teacher as I am an actor.
Hmm.
And if I don't feel like I'm being honest and I can teach you something, then I'm not going to teach well, you know?
Yeah.
So that to me it's important.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the talking point on teaching.
Dude, deep
survival
deep thoughts
jobs
in that, dude. Yeah.
Yep.
How about just to take away from it too? This just proves the survival job doesn't have to be a thing that you hate. Like, you know,
Oh, yeah.
it can be such a part of your personality, and then you also get to act too.
It definitely can. It definitely can, for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
there are people who I know other people as well who work at museums as tour guides at museums.
Oh, yeah.
I had one of the coolest survival jobs I had, was when we in New York working Broadway for the theaters.
Yeah.
And basically, I think I'm hearing the stream goblin, and I know that you're not aware of the stream goblin.
Oh boy.
On this channel, but there's a stream goblin in my house, and he shows up every once in a while and tears down my green screen and all kinds of stuff. I'm sorry.
Stream goblin. Uh-oh.
Yeah. He's not supposed to be up here either, so that's the best part. But so where was I?
Working Broadway.
Yeah, it was called the Broadway Ambassador. So we basically wear either effects from a show. So let's say the company had Phantom of the Opera. We'd wear Phantom of the Opera hoodies, or little pieces of like costume equipment or anything, and then we'll literally walk the streets and talk to tourists and people who wanted to go to the theater about the shows, and we'd show them where the theater was, and we'd show them the ticket booth, and we'd talk to them about the shows, and we'd recommend shows to them. It was glorious because, first of all, I was working with only other actors. Everybody else is an actor in that job.
Oh yeah.
The freedom is amazing because you're literally pounding the pavement talking to people. And a good day is a day when you kind of get people excited about going to the theater and seeing theater. You know what I mean? And it's not one of those, pay per ticket things where like you'd get like a commission or anything like that. It was literally an hourly wage where we walked around and talked to people about theater and were excited about theater and got other people excited about theater. It was a great gig. And it fed me.
Did you get to see shows as well?
Yes, we got through the tickets and stuff that we got early access.
Think of the value of that.
It was great.
Especially as trying to immerse yourself in the theater community, trying to be up to date on the shows. Yeah. I think that's something to consider too.
It's great. It's great.
I've ushered on the side just for that reason.
Exactly. And it's just you're working in house. You're working in house.
Yeah.
And I think that has an immense value. And so there's teaching, there's working it, and there's also like if you want to get in film, doing script assistant work or
for sure.
I know a lot of people. I see a lot of people in my network who are on films and they are actors, but they're just, what do they call them? Gophers. You know what I mean?
Oh, the runner.
Yeah, exactly. And
I've heard of,
it's
I did that years ago too.
Yeah. Assistants on films and stuff. And as long as you're at a place that treats you nice, where everybody's okay with each other and treats each other with respect, I think that's valuable too. Cause it's like being an extra. You get to learn about films without being in the film, you know?
Yeah.
And you talk to other people who do what you do, and it's a cool environment. So like, there's not only being on stage is not the only gig, you can have I know other people who work in museums, where they do performances for people, you know what I mean? Like they literally get a job at a museum where the museum would say, we have this historical event or specific thing coming. Could you guys put together some sort of, convention or show that kind of leads the audience through what's happening, and it's an immersive theater kind of thing or whatever. Like there's so many options.
Yeah. That just reminded me, I had a buddy who is a full-time stand-in and that actually, so he does it through the union. So it pays great, but like his job is to, be the guy who's the same height as the lead actor and they do the lighting on him. I think that's another great job that, like you said, it immerses you in the set. You learn, and you're still involved in some aspect with a film production. It's not completely devoid of what you're trying to do. So
for sure,
their jobs.
Don't think things are below you. Just you'll be surprised. I'm fortunate to be reading with somebody this weekend. I mean, I got this email just this week, and if you're watching, that's cool. But from a student at a master's student at a university in New York. He's like, "Hi, would you want to read for?" And not even like offering me the role. This is a no pay student film.
Yeah.
Would you want to read for it? And I'd be like, yeah,
Yeah.
not because I feel like I want to do anybody a favor, not because I it's just like, yeah, it's something, it's semi, I'm not going to say low commitment. No acting job is low commitment, but I don't have to fly to New York to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's an opportunity to meet these people who are working in their processes. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's such a cool opportunity to work. And I know other people who would be like, "Oh, it's just a student film," or other people would be like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that is networking, man, to bring up, I know another point we're going to talk about today, but
that was a glorious segue, actually.
I mean,
speaking of nothing,
that was it.
That was the segue into networking. Cause yes, it is a glorious networking opportunity because people are, they graduate from colleges all over the place all the time, you know?
I've done short films for no pay for Columbia graduate students.
Yeah.
And I've also been, and this has been during the pandemic, invited to do classes over Zoom as one of their actors who does the scene.
Yeah.
I'll help these young directors out who are in.
Yes, that's an amazing job. Oh, if you can get into that, that's beautiful.
It's great. It's not only is it fun, not only do I get to stretch my acting legs, I'm helping young directors. And I'm learning myself. It's one of those things where you're both learning from that kind of stuff. And
it's a very valuable gig. That's recommended for sure.
That is,
yes,
dude, that is free networking. That is, if you're looking for it, there it is.
Yeah, because not only, you don't even have to worry about it. Like, speaking of networking, everybody's like, networking has to be hard. You have to learn these things. You have to have some icebreakers. You got to all this. That's just you go in there.
Talking points. Yeah. You have 4 seconds to have a first impression.
What is it called? Your elevator pitch?
Yeah, that's right.
Goddamn elevator pitch.
What pressure? It's so much pressure. It really is.
Yes, and I think that's removed in those settings because everybody's there to work. That's a really great place to go. Yeah, just step in and do the scenes, and directing workshops even with students where you're in as an actor or anything like that. That's a really good opportunity because these kids, I say kids, some of them are older than me.
Oh well, some are, but some are older. Yeah,
go out and are going to be out in the world. You know what I mean? And it's doing something good for your own artistry because it's going back into somewhere where you can stretch your legs a little bit, like you said. And it's also exploring, I feel like it's exploring these new people coming into the world. You know what I mean? Looking at them and working with them and hearing how they talk, how they work, it keeps you updated. It keeps you fresh.
Yeah.
So that's great for networking.
I have never been good at cold networking, just walking up to someone and just shaking the hand and being like, "Hey, I'm Jeff. Nice to meet you," or whatever that would be.
Yeah.
I never can do that earnestly, but I still have friends from short films I've done 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
Who they will message me on my social media and like we'll keep lightly in touch. And I think about like that's how I network. That's what works for me. It's to volunteer, put myself into the acting community. And do work with other people, and that's where I can just be myself, and I can do it. I still find it so difficult to go up to someone who I'm like,
yep.
I hate to say, but I do want something from you. If it's a job, or if I want you to like, if I want you to like me, but I think that is the biggest no for networking. I only in this sort of volunteer setting have I found my personal way to network. And
for sure, it's a low pressure.
I'm working on the cold network though.
The cold networking, yeah. I mean, I guess it's a skill, and I think if you meet somebody with a little grace, you know what I mean, they know what's going on. I guess then it's probably not as bad as we think it is.
Yeah,
but it's still pretty bad. It feels weird for sure. Walking up to somebody being like, "Hey, this is me."
Yeah. And you're the guy,
exactly.
I love your work. It's like, it's hard, man. It is hard.
I think part of it's about approaching. When it comes to networking, I feel the same way. It's low pressure situations to me are my best networking opportunities. And I think it probably is that way for everybody. But like, you network best when there's, it feels like a low pressure situation. And a little mental trick I do. I use myself in those situations regardless is because, like, you know how people get starstruck? I've only been starstruck probably once or twice in my whole life, and I've really practiced that. I really practiced not being that. And it's something that it's a mantra I keep giving myself is I don't need anything from you. I just want to know who you are.
Yeah.
I don't need anything from you. And it's a lie. Of course, it's an absolute blatant lie because, especially if it's like, let's say it's a casting director or a producer or anything like that. But I will lie to the point where I'll believe it myself. So I can walk up to this person and just get to know them. You know what I mean? Because I think we had a teacher once in one of our workshops in school who said the squeaky wheel gets the oil, right? And there's a balance there to be like, I want this person to remember me. The person, the cool person I am, they want to call me. They're somebody they feel like they can call. And if I have all these ideas and these lines, and I went to this, I took this class where I learned to network, you know what I mean? Where I have these prepared lines, then I don't think it just, to me, and I understand how you feel, man. It just doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right.
People are they might even think that is your personality. This very, I'll call it structured way to approach a conversation. When in reality, I know for me personally, like I do like to be silly, or I like to, goof around, but then I also like to be serious at times. There's like all these elements to me. And I think when you meet someone, if you can show them that instead of this prepared networking side of you, they're going to remember that. It may even help if you are trying to get cast. It may even help you get cast if they're like, oh, he kind of had like a older brother vibe. Like I got that where they wouldn't have gotten that if you came, you're prepared.
You don't want to come in generic, So if you don't want to come in generic. You want to be you, and they say just be yourself. That's the worst thing. That's the worst piece of advice. I try to avoid that. Just be yourself. Okay, which me? The one, who in the crying alone in my bedroom at night, or the me at the store, or the me
they all exist
while I'm taking my driving test? Which me would you like?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to me, it's just like I want to make it feel like I'm going to this person and saying to myself, I don't need a thing from you. I don't need anything.
I love that. It's so simple, but it's exactly it. Dude, to talk about the pay to play classes, because I think people.
Speaking of not needing anything from someone, the best pay to play. I'm sorry, I'm gonna just let this thought run all the way out.
No, dude, do it. Yeah,
Speaking of that, the best classes I've had, the best pay to plays I've done are the ones where I walk in the room saying, I'm just going to come here and I'm going to learn all I can. I'm going to suck up everything I can from you. I don't need anything from you. I paid for a class and I'm going to take it, and that's it.
And I'm not trying to show off. I'm not trying to walk out of here with the agent and their email. There's no goal of that. I'm just going to do my work, and I'm going to learn. That's it, dude. That's how you got to approach these things.
Because pay to play. Now let's get into this pay to play thing a little bit.
Yeah.
Because in the States it's a rampant thing, and I do believe it started in a good place. I think it still is in a good place. Like it comes from good intentions. Where if you're not familiar, as a casting director, let's say, will start offering classes, because a casting director is indeed, that's why they're called casting directors or directors. So they'll offer like a cold read class, or they'll offer an auditioning class, or whatever. But the real thing underneath that is you're getting FaceTime with that person. Like agents also offer, like classes or courses where the truth is, and even now I see some of the postings in the States where they even gear it like that's how the ad is. You know what I mean? Get FaceTime with this.
They know what it is. Yeah.
Agent by joining this class. And I'm like, but that kind of destroys it. Really, you're shooting yourself in the foot, because even if it started in a good place, I know a couple casting directors who started teaching these classes out of pure, I want to teach this. I want to teach people what I know. You know what I mean? I want them to be better in the room. I want them to learn what I have. And when it comes from that place, it's a way easier sell for me, for sure. As soon as it says, get FaceTime or guaranteed, agent guaranteed, pay $200 or whatever.
That's the red flag. Yeah.
That's the red flag, and I don't particularly like it. I don't respect it. Because here in Norway it's happened. Like if you're not, if you're watching and you're like, why are these gentlemen on Zoom? Jeff's in New York right now, and I'm in Western Norway. Here, it's different. It's just starting in the past couple of years, maybe 2 or 3 years, this has started happening over here where casting directors, not agents, or because agencies here are very strange, but mostly casting directors have started offering classes. And I'm not sure if I like it or not, because I know that the intentions are good. But I'm also like, you're crossing a line into a territory where you're in a position where you can hire me for a job, but I'm here to learn. And that's a really hard balance, man. And I don't think there's any easy way to navigate that.
There's a little bit of onus on us as the actor, though, to take responsibility and know how do I want to word this? I would say if you go into it, like you said, knowing you want to learn, I think that's, you gotta be self-aware enough to know that.
Yeah.
And I think also, if you don't just start going to every single one out there, I think that can shoot you in the foot too. And I think if you do some homework beforehand and you're like, what is this casting director casting? What shows are they on? Could I be on this show? If you laser focus what this casting director does, then I think you can find success with them. I think if you just start throwing yourself into these classes, you're setting yourself up to start to feel like you're getting taken advantage of, when really it's just maybe you not doing some homework on will this person, are they looking for someone to do an animation voiceover? But I don't do that, but I'm going to the class anyways.
Yep, exactly.
So I do see both sides of the coin, where maybe it's on us as actors to do a little more homework beforehand.
For sure, do our homework. That's actually that's a really good point, because walking into the room, you just don't want to walk into that thinking, I mean, if you're in networking mode when you go to a class, that's where things are weird. And I remember the best, relationships I have with casting directors now, and they don't hire me, it's not like I get called every week either, but a good relationship, a working relationship, and a mutual respect as people are the classes where I'd go in there with my work, ready to work on whatever, on this specific workshop that we're working on, because I want to learn more about this thing. And I think that's really, really valuable. So pay to play, I don't know, it's either, it can be, you said it, Jeff, you said it. It's laser focus.
I think there certainly are ones that are, very expensive, and maybe those, and like you said, maybe they're blasting ads that say meet casting director with 7 actors signed last week. And then you go, okay, what are you really pushing here?
Yeah.
I think there are casting directors who earnestly like teaching. They earnestly are looking for new actors. It's like both at once.
Yeah.
And then is it also on us as the actor to then go, what am I looking for? Am I looking to be on Law and Order SVU?
Yeah.
Well, what is that casting director? When is their workshop? And I'm not just going to I'm not going to the Nickelodeon workshops.
No, exactly.
Because I'm not looking to do that.
Exactly. Yeah. And that makes sense. That makes sense. And I also believe just looking at it in a different way, because casting directors, I notice at least, if they don't come from, and this is the way it is with directors in general as well, I've noticed, but if they don't come from an acting background, they don't always speak the same language we do. And
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Sometimes that in itself to me is worth going to the class. Just hearing how these people see us or talk to us and about us. Because sometimes it's really different than the way we're used to. We have to translate a lot. And if I want to practice my muscle, which is translating, okay, I need you to be more sad, right? And I'm not saying, I've probably maybe once or twice heard that, but like translate that into what do I need right now? You know what I mean? Or I need you to do the scene with your head a little lower. You know what I mean? To translating it into what do I need to make that happen?
Yeah.
It's good practice, and learning the different voices and vocabularies, because they're all different too. That's another thing. Casting, there's one thing that's good about it is you get to see directors, bam, 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 bam. You know what I mean? You'll go to 3 or 4 different classes and you'll see 3 or 4 different directors, with 3 or 4 different ways of talking to you.
Yeah.
And
that sparked for me, just to riff off that one thing you said, where it's like, I remember I went to one and a casting director was like, when you see a moment that you have to be confused, look up. Like that shows your confusion. And I remember when I heard that, I was like, what are you talking about? That's not what I learned in school. You don't look up to look confused.
Yeah.
You remember just the last what was it, last week on the pod, or last 2 weeks ago, I was like, in a self-tape, sometimes it can play to plan a moment that to give a reaction because that reads well on film.
Yeah.
So it's like years later, I took what they said and I see where they were coming from. Now maybe she worded it poorly when she was just like, look up to look confused. But what I take from it is, on camera, movements read very well.
Yes.
You can plan certain movements, so you're not just staring completely relaxed the whole time. Because I don't think that's going to play either.
No.
So I don't know.
That's a good point. You see, and that's it. Translating it. Perfect. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You got to take it. And sometimes you're not in a place right then and there. Like you said, it'd be like, what are you're stepping on the craft here.
This is not
this is not acting. What are you doing? You're telling me to look at a light bulb while I'm, you know what I mean? And it's funny, and then time goes by and you think, oh, that makes sense. We got to translate it. We got to take it in and we got to translate it.
Yeah, I can see what they meant, even though they may have worded it in a way that at the time I'm just like, oh my gosh, no, that can't be it. But it's like, oh wait, in film, maybe making a certain movement does play well. I see what you're saying.
Give me, and these are things that we need to learn to translate and pay to play. Kind of lets you keep that warm. But let me say something else. An improv group that you put together yourself and have practices and rehearsals every week, that will do that as well, right? You know what I mean? So the added bonus, the added bonus of it being I think it's just you can buy something fresh. To me, it's kind of like you buy something fresh. You know what I mean? Like let's say when I go to New York now, hopefully someday the world will be normal again and I can start going back to New York and work for a little while. The first thing I look for, and this is funny, but and I haven't thought about this because I haven't been back to New York in so long because of all the things. But the first thing I look for is actually one of those classes, because I want to go in there and I want to just kind of like get a splash of ice cold water, thrown in my face. Because it's new, it's fresh, it's somebody I don't know. It's an opportunity to hear how they talk and how things work with them.
Breaks up your routine too.
Oh yeah, big time.
Just something new can spark something in your brain.
Exactly. So it's definitely, if it could be something to do, and this is another thing for the pay to play, but if you feel like you're in a rut, then and you got some money, just do it, get her done.
It's a great idea. I didn't even think about that, but it's like a way to just give yourself a refresher. Maybe it's been 2 months and you're just finding yourself in that loop. It's my auditions are feeling the same. Oh man, but maybe just a new voice in the room looking at your work can help you out. That's where there's value. Yeah, I agree.
Amen to that. All right. Did we talk about the survival job?
Dude, I think we did. I mean, I know we had a hiccup in our podcast today, but
we did. We'll splice it together.
I think
somehow.
we got through it though.
We did.
I think so.
We chatted about networking for sure.
Yeah.
Right, and we talked about networking and maybe the fact that maybe we should just try to present ourselves as people wanting to get to know other people.
Yeah, and it's so simple, but it's like just being yourself is the best way to do it. And if I'm certain that's part of the element of like the cold network too, to someone you don't know. It's like you got to be yourself very quickly. I think that's hard to do, but I think volunteering in your class or something, that's a way to network too. For sure. Yeah. I just realized something when you said that. We have to add one thing to networking. Oh yeah.
Maybe just getting that out of the way might be a thing. You know what I mean? Like if you talk about cold networking specifically, I had this idea because like maybe just get the weird part out of the way, the introduction out of the way. You know what I mean? Just have something right there ready. Just be like,
so acknowledge that it's weird is what you're saying.
Exactly.
We all know this is weird.
Yeah.
We all know.
Exactly. Hi, I'm Ray. You're this person. This is really,
I love your work.
I love your work. This is weird. Let's get it out of the way. Would you like a drink?
Yeah. And acknowledge that part will be a little formal if you want to call it, but then you can kind of be silly, or you can talk Star Wars with them or whatever, as it goes.
But that's like this specifically to the cold network, isn't it? I mean, it's the way you would walk up to anybody, you know what I mean? It's kind of like a pickup line, you know?
We're picking up casting directors.
It's kind of like we're picking up casting
agents.
We're picking up agents.
Yeah,
I think that might be.
There's a similarity. I can't lie. There is a similarity with that.
And I think just get that out of the way, because the whole thing is like, if it's a pickup line, this is where these two roads split. Is if it's a pickup line, then you are always going to be wanting more, right?
Oh well, sure. Yeah.
With this specific situation, is, hey, there's that person. I'm going to walk over to him. I'm going to give him this one thing and then get that out of the way. And I need nothing from you. Would you like to hang out?
There you go.
You know what I mean?
How true is that? From then on, it's just we're talking.
Yeah, exactly. And then because I've seen like, I'll have something planned, have some like to talk about their work or talk about this, that, and the other thing. If I recognize somebody, it's because I know their work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so why would I have something pre-planned? You know what I mean? I'd be like, let's get this weird thing out of the way. I'm me, you're you. I saw you do this thing. I loved it. It was glorious. Now, you're double parked outside. You should move your car. I'll help you. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Just get it out of the way and then get into the real stuff, because I've noticed this a lot more lately, is that connections come and go a lot, right? So you'll meet somebody and there'll be this one person who is your go-to person, and they'll call you in for things and you'll do this, and then time will go by and they'll kind of drift away, and it feels really lonely. It's like, now I can never have another person like that. But then you pick up another thing, another person comes into your life, and then all of a sudden there's a couple people calling you, and it comes and goes in waves. And I think that the networking part is so important, and just because that it always has to happen, doesn't it? It always has to happen, because you always have to work on your network. The old fades and the new comes in, there's always these new, who said it? Our fellow Alan Bradley Cooper, when he came and had his symposium with us at Actor Studio Drama School at one time. He put it beautifully and said, you're in a bubble now, because we were in the bubble, obviously, of grad school. He says, and this is what you got to do throughout your whole career, is just keep creating and bursting those bubbles. Whether it be networks or production, I'm kind of riffing off what he said, but like, it's all, you got to create the bubbles and then burst the bubbles, and create them and burst them, and just keep moving. It's not like burn bridges, but literally it becomes a bubble, and then you got to move on to the next bubble, to the new network,
Yeah. Similarly, I've heard it described as circles, and that it's not, the circles don't go away. It's just that some expand, and then others are close, but they're always there as long as you, as long as you don't burn bridges, as long as you don't do that. But like, I would feel completely comfortable emailing any of my professors or anyone from our cohort. And yet I haven't talked to them in a few years.
Exactly.
And it's just like the circle it's just bigger. And then there's more immediate circles too.
Yep.
So
That's true. So we talked about it, and we even added to networking at the end just now. And then we tied it together with pay for play. What should we do with pay for play? Do it if you're in a rut. Do it if you like
Shake it up,
person's work. If you like what they cast, then go see how it feels to be in front of them. Yeah.
But maybe do your research beforehand. Take responsibility that you are paying money to do this. So don't expect things out of it. Don't go to 80 million of them and be like, why am I not getting anything? Be like, okay, I want to be in commercial voiceover. I'm going to wait for commercial voiceover agent to take their class. And laser focus it.
Focus. That's what it's all about, Jeff. That's what it is all about. All right. Well, we've been up for our hour. I mean, it was kind of split up due to two different streams, but we talked about our points. We got there. We made it through, and we got it despite the internet trying to
shut us down.
The internet trying to shut us down.
We made it through.
We made it through.
Take that, YouTube.
Take that, YouTube. All right, so we got another one down. Now, if you enjoyed what you just saw, if you are watching us live or watching on demand, hit the like button. All right, it lets us know if this is working.
Please,
also, if you
and our Instagram, we've been starting to post too.
This is true. Craft Evolved on Instagram. Check us out. We get now because we learn, right? Jeff and I are learning. Just as you are learning from watching this. So we now have an Instagram page that every once in a while we post some information and some tidbits. So follow us over on Instagram to get the full experience. And also, of course, you got to hit the subscribe thing, right?
Oh, please.
It's called the button. If you can. You can. If you can,
If you can, hey, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for stopping by. It was good to see you. May you be happy on your journey. All right, rock and roll. Jeff, thank you.
Goodbye. Great episode, and we'll see you next time.
Sounds good to me. All right, take it easy. Bye-bye, everybody.